Hey guys, it's Cameron Bobier. Thanks for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel.
Let's see what happens here. Waiting for those red lights to go off, and then we're away racing. Revs are up. Looks like a clean start from the field from our vantage point. And from the middle, it's Jaden Fernandez on the 13 who gets away cleanly. Rossi Moore in second. Looks like he's going to get swallowed up by a bunch of Kawasaki's unless he outbreaks him heading into turn number 3.
And we know he's capable of that. He had a lot of good pace, but he is going backwards right now. As you say, he's back to 5th, maybe even 6th. So Rossi Moore from pole. I don't think it's going to concern him too much. We have a rider off on the exit of turn 2, but upright, keeping it upright, leading into turn 3 for the first time is Max Van. And I really do feel like today's the day that Max Van needs to make a statement. If he wants to stay in this championship, it's important that he beats a couple of these guys behind or ahead of him in the points.
Moore has already worked his way up into 3rd spot. He's number 34 on that orange KTM. On that Farium NGRT, Gray Area Racing KTM.
He's trying to get up underneath Fernandez. So Rossi Moore doing exactly what you said, Greg. He's working it under the brakes right now on these guys. And we remember yesterday when we go through this big long carousel, the KTM was really good at how quick it jumped out of this little chicane, and he might even try to go up. Thought about it. Max Van does a nice job of protecting that line. But the KTM was extremely fast out of here. He would pull 3 or 4 bike lengths just out of that turn alone. And it was making it hard work for these guys to catch back up.
You know, listening to the sounds provided by Audio Technica yesterday, we're hearing a lot of rev limiters, Jason. And obviously a lot of teams making some gearing changes and giving a little bit more RPM to these small displacement motorcycles. As Rossi Moore takes the lead, we have a rider off in the back in turn number 12.
Looks like a couple of riders actually, Greg. As I look out the window here to my left, I can see, yeah, there's at least two riders down. So
Jasmine Nichols
yeah,
on the Panda Racing Machine is one of them who's down. Back to the front we go, and it looks like Rossi Moore got gobbled up by a couple of Kawasaki's.
You know, yesterday, Greg, there were times when we would look up and he'd be 0.8 of a second quicker, a lead coming across the line, and these guys were able to draw it back in. So it's going to be the same thing again as you see Levy Batty doing what he does. He sneaks up underneath there to collect a position. So that's going to move him up into, I believe, 5th place, and he's going to try to go forward as well.
Let him get away today and try to avoid kind of unnecessary battles that are slowing the overall pace down.
Yeah, that's kind of heads-up riding, too, because it's something you need to be aware of as a young rider, that, you know, dicing might be fun, but it's also going to allow the people behind you, like the 99 of Dreyer, your championship points leader in 4th, to close the gap.
And he's going to try to go around the outside of the 71. So Bigney's on the 69 trying to make this pass stick, not quite able to do it. So Batty doing a nice job there, but that gap of him trying to go into that slower corner, a little bit tighter.
Race win pace. He's in a really good spot right now. But Jay, he's riding into more confidence is the 99.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, not getting all the laps yesterday, he's not really going to know how things are going towards the end of the race. But this guy's cagey. He's won races already this year. He's not going to be too shook up, it doesn't look like, by that yesterday. And he's also going to have some confidence in knowing that those first 3 guys are just right up the road. Rossi Moore too deep.
Yep. So that sideways play for him didn't quite work out that time. The bike pivoted just way beyond the point of bringing it back. It was a good save by Rossi Moore. And all of a sudden, we have a lead change, and Fernandez has got a bit of a gap all of a sudden.
He does. That's a good job from him. And now you can see Dreyer and Rossi Moore. They're all going to be the chasers now with Max Van
in this group. So it's Fernandez leading Max Van, who's already starting to claw back a little bit of that lead. Levy Batty's in there. Dreyer, the 99. Bickney's the 69. Moore on the orange bike as well. And then just off that back is DeMario into the super tight turn number 12. Jason, you talked about it yesterday. A deceiving corner. You kind of get to turn 12 and all of a sudden it's there.
Yeah, it feels like one lap you break in a certain spot and you go to that same spot the next lap, and it feels like the corners move towards you and you end up getting in there a little bit too fast. So it's really important that you find some consistency between those 2 turns 11 and 12, and try not to make that mistake. But generally, you know, we see the biggest mistakes made in the slowest corners, and these guys now have started to draw back into Jaden Fernandez. Jaden's probably thinking, man, I haven't had anybody around me for a couple of laps here. But Levy Batty is going to take to the front of that next group and try to draw closer to Jaden.
The halfway point of this Junior Cup race, and Levy Batty has closed down on the leader. Rossi Moore trying to make up some positions lost. And Fernandez looking a little bit vulnerable right now as the pack has caught him. And Jason, you mentioned it before. He's probably thinking, where is everybody? Well, guess what? Unless these two start to split from the rest of the field, Levy Batty looking really good after setting the fastest lap of the race.
And he's good here.
Up the inside.
Really good here, yeah. Doesn't surprise me to see Levy Batty do this. Now, the thing is, Levy's shown a lot of pace. The last 2 days, he has shown a lot of pace, and he's managed to work his way to the front of this group now.
And into second place after that miscue from the 71. Another heartbreaker.
And it's that slow corner again, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. But even more after the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, that was turn 12 that we talked about, Jay.
Yep.
It's a very strange corner. You know it's there.
Yep.
It goes the same direction every lap, but it sneaks up on you in a really weird way. For the lead, Rossi Moore back up front. Max Van trying to get his bike slowed, and that creates a bit of a gap as Fernandez got kind of boxed in. Moments ago, Jay, let's take a look left part of the screen.
And they're way too deep. Not even close. And it's such a shame because I feel like he has pace. But we've just seen a couple too many mistakes out of the 71 the last couple of days. Just a couple. But gets that cleaned up, and he would have been right there at the front again, come checkered flag time.
Rossi Moore gets swallowed up by a quartet of Kawasaki's. And it's Max Van who goes to the front. So we know that Max Van has a lot of speed on the last lap. Can he dig deep and do the same thing if he's out front? There's still tons of racing to go as we come down to getting close to 3 laps remaining in this race. So 3.5 to go. Max Van leads. Fernandez, there goes Moore up the inside. So he'll take over second spot into that turn 12 where he had an incident before. Now we're going to go to 3 laps to go. Max Van looking good right now. Moore in the draft. But there's the Kawasaki's, and this is the fastest section of Brainerd International Raceway. Really, where drafting and passing plays a huge factor.
And Dreyer is going to get a nice pull here, as is Bickney's from the 2 in front of him. So they're both trying to get in that draft to try to get by Rossi Moore as he drafts past Max Van.
And Jason, for Avery Dreyer, trying to stay in the mix. He knows he's got a comfortable lead here, but he's not wanting to risk too much the way that he did yesterday. He said he'll settle for second.
We're going to see the white flag this time by, and those guys are close enough. I think that you're going to see maybe 2 bikes. Levy Batty's got himself to 4th. You might see 2 or 3 bikes get up by Rossi Moore by the time they get to turn 3.
The problem is second and third are spaced out a little bit more, but if the 13 can catch a little bit of that draft for the 34, it's going to close him right up. He's nearly side by side. Here comes Fernandez. He's going to take over the lead for the moment, but Batty trying to fight right back. It's not going to happen, so Fernandez has it for a moment, but Batty's going to shoot right to the inside and start braking. There he goes. Downshifts made. He'll take the lead over again, and he's able to park Fernandez.
Yeah, Rossi Moore just showing a lot of confidence on the front end of that motorcycle getting into turn 3. Now I think it's going to be really difficult for these guys to do anything with him. As you see Batty going up for second. Batty is not done. He has come from a long way back, and he's going to try to stuff his way through on Rossi Moore. It's just a matter of where's he going to have a go. You
have to get ahead of Rossi Moore by turn number 12 because he has owned that section of the racetrack. If you have a chance to get after him and park him, other than that, that's what you got to be thinking. There's nowhere else to strike Rossi Moore.
Yeah, Levy Batty, this is an incredible ride, and he has just literally made that one mistake and then charged himself all the way up to the back of this KTM. Now he's got to continue to put pressure. He might try to go underneath him.
Oh, and he's got it. He's sliding sideways. This is exactly where he needed to do it. He's controlling Rossi Moore now. Does Moore have it into turn number 12 as they come up to this section of the racetrack? So the right-hander here, now we're going to be coming up. Both of these riders have already run off in this race one time. The 71, hard on the brakes. He's holding the line. Moore trying to get a run at him. Oh, and the rider goes down. It looks like Max Van possibly as Batty sweeps around the corner. Now it's the big drag race to the flag. Who has it? It looks like Levy Batty will take the checkered flag by 87 thousandths of a second. And unfortunately for this rider, down in turn number 12.
Oh, and his bike is just locked up. He can't even get it going again and try to get some points.
That's horrible. He was trying to get to his bike, pick it up, and get some points. He was second in the championship, Max Van.
And as a result, that's a good-looking podium for the future of the sport right there. Levi Batty, Rossi Moore, and Jaden Fernandez, man. You got to like that.
1 through 5, just 1 second separating them, but 87 thousandths of a second. Levi Batty over Moore. Let's get right down to Hannah, who has our winner.